In 2026, the most valuable business model that you can start today is building an AI agency, but most people are doing it wrong. So in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how to build and scale your AI agency, and I'm gonna reveal the three most important fundamental things when going and building an AI agency. So let's get right into it. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Noah Varner. I have scaled an AI agency to over 50K a month, a Instagram channel, and just social media in general, over 120,000 followers in the last 6 months, directly using AI to leverage that and build my business. So I'm going to be breaking down all of it on exactly what you need to get to the 20, 30K figure and the three things that you're going to need. And it's the most important things. Now, the first one is, and this is, people look at this kind of stuff backwards. Like when people are like, so a lot of my community members, when they come in, they're essentially, their biggest thing that they think about is their offer. So they're always thinking like, okay, like what do I need to offer? What is the coolest, best thing? But that's actually totally backwards. And I'm living proof of that. You could sell, excuse my French, you could sell shit wrapped up in a bow and people are still going to buy it. It doesn't really matter. Now, that does not mean go and sell a bad offer. We do not sell a bad offer. We sell a fantastic offer because it's taken us time to narrow that down. But what's going to happen is when people think about their specific offer, they're like, okay, like I got to get the right setup. I got to get the right automations. I got to figure out what the problem is first. But that's actually backwards. So the first thing that you need to do to get rolling here is attention. So the most important thing by far when you're trying to build and scale an AI agency is attention. And what attention means is people seeing your stuff. Okay, you have to think of, and just like any business model, your business model is a funnel, right? And at the very bottom of the funnel, you collect the money, and this is where you have clients and you get them lots of testimonials and all this stuff, and then you're able to work it back up. So the thing is, this doesn't exist without this. Why I say offer, because offer comes down in here, right? But if this doesn't exist, which is your attention up top here, who are you going to sell this awesome offer that you came up with, right? It's like, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters until people know who you are, right? That's why I post on social media. That's why I post YouTube videos. That's why I send out emails, because I need people to see me daily. So you have your attention here at the top, right? Where you're making, several videos. Now, when you think of, I cannot spell, but like when you're making if you're starting out at like an AI agency and you've never sold anybody, you've never made a client, you're starting from scratch, or if you're somebody who's doing 10, 20, 30K a month, right? And if you're not making content, quite literally the easiest way to start, guys, is doing a few things. Go start on Instagram. So you need to be on Instagram and you need to be on YouTube. Focus nowhere else. Like what Instagram does is Instagram is kind of like its own funnel, right? So with your content, it's also a funnel as well. So let me expand this here. So with Instagram is very like top of funnel, right? Where it's like you have all of these short form videos that you're making that are getting, thousands and thousands of views, right? Like we'll do a mil. I did 4 mil last month. We'll just call it a mil on the top here on Instagram. All of the problem with Instagram is it's not nurturing enough. So people are watching and doom scrolling on 30-minute videos. If you think of the type of person that is on Instagram, it's somebody who is getting quick dopamine hits, somebody who cannot sit through long periods of time to learn something. So you're going to get a way less conversion rate, and you're also going to get way less trust. But the point of Instagram is to amass, right, like as many views as possible at top of funnel. Then in the middle, what we want to do here is we've got our YouTube. So with YouTube, what this does is people see, I always suggest do YouTube and Instagram together at once. I think my biggest regret is I went all in on Instagram at first, and now I'm starting to do YouTube. But YouTube is like a long-term investment because what YouTube does, YouTube is the only platform on earth that quite literally recommends your videos 2, 3, 4 years. Like I don't know if you guys have ever scrolled through YouTube and you see a video from 10 years ago that was recommended, right? That is Instagram doesn't do that. I mean, the furthest you'll see an Instagram video out is like a couple months, right? But by then all that information is really old and stale. YouTube is just so evergreen, and it's something that's working for you 24/7. But the point is like, if I were to do it again, I would still do it in the way where I'm still kind of making like 1 or 2 YouTube videos a day or a week, but I'm still going all in on Instagram to get as many views as possible. Because then what that does is when people see your face and your brand, right? Like I post 4, 5, 6 videos a day. I post carousels every day. People are seeing me multiple times in their feed every single time that they log on. And what that does is that builds a mass amount of trust. That builds to where they see my face over and over again. I'm giving them sauce. I'm showing testimonials. I'm posting fucking memes. I'm doing everything. And it's amassing a certain amount of views. Then once they see my face, they like, oh, I know that guy. And then they see my YouTube videos, which has got my face plastered all over it on the thumbnail. And they're like, oh, I saw that guy from Instagram. I think he's a smart guy. Let me go watch his long form YouTube videos. And what that does, guys, is then that nurtures them so much, because then they spend so much more time on YouTube watching you. Like versus like, let's say somebody watched 100 reels of me. That's probably going to total up to maybe, let's say like 30 minutes of time. Versus a video like this, which could end up being 20 minutes, that's already one video, where it's 20 minutes. They're going to go on and watch multiple. Because at the end of this video, YouTube's going to suggest my next video and my next video. And then you got playlists and all this stuff. I've had people come to me and say, like, they show up to sales calls with me and they're like, dude, I've watched you so much. I've watched so many hours of you that like, here's my credit card. Like, dude, what you're building is amazing. I want to learn from you. I want your company to build what you're building. Like, do it. And they immediately trust you, right? Which is why YouTube is so important. And if you guys don't know about the 7-11-4 rule, you'll hear me talking about this all the time, which is basically Google did a study of 1,000 businesses. I think it was like a couple years ago, where it basically states that to get a customer online, you need 7 hours. So on average, a customer watches 7 hours of content. So they're watching 7 hours of your face, right? And that's not possible through Instagram. It's definitely possible through YouTube, right? Which is why both of these are a nasty connection. Then they need over 11 touch points. So that's emails, that's just seeing your face 11 times, and then across 4 channels. And this is on average. And 4 channels just means on different social medias, right? Now, I know that that's contrarian to what I'm talking about here, which is like Instagram and YouTube, but this is just on average. Really, the only number that you guys have to focus on is this right here. Because if you can get as much attention as possible and get as many people to watch hours and hours of content for you, they're going to buy right away. Your life is already so much easier. Like for me, what I did in the beginning is like I didn't focus on trying to solve an offer right away. What I focused on is I tried to get as much attention as humanly possible. Because down the line, what you'll realize and what you see from every big personal brand online, like if I go to Brett Scales here, so with Brez has changed his offer multiple times over the years, right? And I think he was like a SaaS guy back in the day, and then he was doing trading, and now he's literally moved on to AI advertiser and teaching people how to scale AI businesses. Now, the point I'm trying to make here, and I don't necessarily suggest going and buying this guy's stuff because it's just massive, but it's more to show you the fact that if you have a ton of attention that you own, right? So if you own a ton of attention at the top of funnel and you're getting millions of views and you're making content consistently and your YouTubes are out there that are just printing, right? And just getting views every single day, you can switch any offer you want. You could literally go like, okay, now I'm going to switch to this. And you already have a pre-built audience that's well established that know you, like you, and trust you. And they're going to go, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, Let's do it. Like, I'll buy whatever you're doing now. Like, you can switch offers. Now, let's say like, you're doing something completely different, which is like, for me, I was like helping people build soccer academies back in the day. If I sold that to my audience now, that wouldn't resonate. But like, if you're building an audience around just purely AI and the future and technology, you can pivot inside of that niche and sell whatever you want. Right? Because you guys are going to realize the offers that you come up with in the beginning are more than likely, you're going to go through 4, 5, 6, 7 iterations to find the right one that is actually scalable for you. So intention is the most important thing, okay? So once you've got the attention, you've got videos going, you're getting followers, people are watching your face every day. And again, you don't need a lot of followers to make money either. You just need something. You just need content out there. Then the next part is actually sales, all right? So is the physical closing. All right. Now, the bridge between getting a lot of people to view you and then at the very bottom, we have our offer is like the bridge is sales here. Okay. And all sales is very easy if you know how to sell. The thing with sales is it is such a skill that you have to master. Because you can go on and sell anything you want if you just learn how to sell. Now, a suggestion for that is I have gotten mentors over the years that I've paid quite literally tens of thousands of dollars to learn all of the skills that I'm breaking down for you right now. But I would invest into somebody who's going to watch your sales calls, break the sales calls down, right? And with sales, it's very straightforward. Getting them from attention to a sales call is not as difficult as you seem. A lot of people make it very, very difficult. So all you really need to do is once you're getting, all of these views, right? So you're at top of funnel, you've got your attention now. People are interested in your stuff. They like you. They're like, cool. They're like, how can I work with you? So really the next step is to get them down into your sales pipeline. Now with sales, a very simple way of you just want to book, especially in the beginning, as many calls as humanly possible. The best way to do that, guys, is there's a few ways. If you're somebody who isn't doing as much volume as say I am, right? Like I've got, I'm doing millions of views a month right now. Like I'm not going to go put a book call link in my Instagram because then a bunch of random people are just going to sign up and they're going to get on a call with me and they're going to be somebody that I don't want, right? So instead, what I want, if I'm somebody who is just starting from scratch, I don't have a lot of attention, I'm taking as many phone calls as possible. I don't care if they're with leads in India. Don't disrespect to my Indian friends. I love y'all. But I don't care. I'm taking as many calls as humanly possible because you don't have the luxury of picking good leads yet. You don't have the luxury of squeezing people out because you need to be having as many calls as possible because what happens on these calls is you learn so much. You learn you're trying to figure out what's this business person, what problem are they incurring right now? Where are they spending the most time that's really manual? What's the most painful problem? And then what is the solution that they think it is and what you think it is, right? So by having all of these phone calls, you're getting an idea of the market. And what these calls are going to do for you is it's going to tell you what your offer needs to be. That's the crazy part about this, is that when you take all these calls, you start to realize, a lot of people really want content. So an example for me is my company, we build content agents and ad agents to help people run their content and ad systems more efficiently, cut costs, cut employees, and be able to scale their ads and content systems, right? At first, I started off with okay, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do custom work. I'm going to do, automations for sales teams. I'm going to do, a dentistry stuff. I'm going to do all of this stuff, right? And it destroys you. It's a horrible way to scale. Now, I always say if you're just starting out, do custom work, take what you can get the money in the bank and learn. But what I'm saying is through taking multiple sales calls, you're going to start hearing buzzwords. You're going to start hearing people say systems and automations, and I want agents in my business, and through my content and marketing I'm dealing with. You're going to hear you're going to hear multiple problems, and they're going to come out, and you're going to be okay, let's say I take 10 calls, 5 of them are complaining about their content and ad systems. 2 of them are complaining about ops, and 3 of them are complaining about doing manual work on the back end that's, a bunch of like emails and like random admin stuff, right? So by taking these calls, you're hearing, I'm hearing content and ads. Oh, okay, this is what my offer needs to be. Then I need to take my content that I'm making it about and feed this back up into here, right? So now we're working purely on content and ads. And I'm just trying to get as many views for people who are dealing with content and ads problems and filter them down in my sales cycle, okay? So at the beginning, I would just put a book call link in your description. Like, get the attention, get them to book a call, right? Once you get to kind of a level where you're doing a ton of attention, then at the next point, it's like, okay, I'm getting all of his attention up here. I've got a booked call link here, but I'm packed out, right? So then what you can do is start adding questions into the book call link. You can go, how much revenue are you doing a month, right? And that's going to squeeze out the brokies, right? Like, then you're going to go, okay, what are you looking for help for? Like content and ads, admin, like whatever that like looks like for you specifically. You start asking them questions, and then like, how willing are you to invest, right? Like just 1, 2, 3 simple questions. And then what you can do is you can squeeze people out then. Once you have the luxury of your calendars full and you know what you're serving and who you're serving, you can start squeezing people out. So if they start filling out the form and they're like, nah, dude, like I have less than 10 grand. I'm like, okay, no, I cancel the call. Like, you don't get access to the call. If you guys want some sauce as a prospective lead funnel, that will literally just kick them off the page or show them to your YouTube video right away if they're answering the wrong questions for you. But it's like, boom, all right, say they get through and then they're say they're not broke, right? Say they're not broke, they're good, they get to the next step, and then they don't want your content systems or they're not looking for that. Then I'm not getting on a call with them. I'm canceling the call. Same thing here. If they're not willing to invest, I'm canceling the call, right? So at a certain point, you have the luxury of doing that. But in the beginning, like you don't, right? If you guys are somebody who is already doing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, then that's not really your issue, right? But if you're just starting out, it's like, dude, like take as many freaking calls as possible, okay? And then the third and final piece is finally that one that everybody loves to talk about, which is your offer. What do I actually sell? Now, if you guys actually watched this video through and through, you would have came to find out that we already determined that through our attention and sales, right? These two things right here tell you what to sell. You don't need to come up with something, because by the time you start getting attention, you're going to realize all of the people asking you questions. They're going to be asking questions in your comment section. They're going to be DMing you questions. They're going to be commenting on your stuff on your YouTube videos. People are going to be asking questions about certain problems, and you are going to see a pattern. Then from there, you're also taking sales calls, right? Now, again, I know like, oh, well, I don't want to get on a sales call. I don't really have an offer. Like, again, if you're starting off, you don't have the luxury. Just build custom stuff. It sucks, but like you have to do it in the beginning. But then on the sales calls, I'm also learning what people are asking and what the problems are, what problems they are, where they're spending the most time, and what the solution could potentially be that they are specifically looking for. From those two things alone, I already know what my offer is. So a great example of this is when I was making content in the beginning, I didn't launch an offer till like 30 or 40,000 viewers. I launched a school community, low-ticket school community, and what I was hearing the most in my comment section and people joining, it was like agency owners and business owners that want to automate their marketing and ads operations, right? People were asking a ton of questions about that, and my most viewed videos were about ads. So what does that tell you? If my most viewed videos that generated me the most leads were around content and ads, would I be an absolute idiot to go, I think I'm going to go build chatbots for people. I think I'm going to teach people how to build sales agents. No, like I'd be an idiot to do that, right? Because my attention told me that. And then when I started getting on calls with people started telling me the same thing. I need marketing and ads. Really, like the offer that you come, if that's why I put this at the bottom, because if you start with this and then you start making content, you're going to find out real quick that you made an offer that just is not what you want, because what you think the market wants is something completely different to what it's actually telling you. And you need to listen to the market. You don't need to listen to you. You think I like sitting here and building content and ad systems? No, it's not fun. It's not cool, right? I would like love to build some AI agents that answer phone calls, receptionists. That's cool. But like the boring stuff is what people want. So I'm going to sell people what they want. I'm not going to sit here and force feed a audience of people something that I personally like. I don't care. Like let's just make money. Let's just grow a business. Let's scale the business. So then I'm getting it from these two. Now, another piece as well. Once you guys are at the level where you are consistently getting business, you've got attention, you've got a clear funnel that is booking sales calls, and you're getting the right ICP, the avatar that you want on these calls, then at that point, it's like, okay, now you have to design an offer that is scalable. So the problem with your offer when you are doing custom work that you guys are going to run into this one is like when you're doing custom work, you're basically spending so much time to try and figure out what's going to, like, how you're going to deliver this. So let's say for a custom offer, I'm going to sell it for $15K to somebody. But in that custom offer, it's like a completely different sales automation, it's a completely different ops, a different content automation, all of these things. The problem with that is that takes up so much time. Okay, so like let's say this y-axis here let's say this takes me 10 hours to fulfill, right? Which is for 15K on 10 hours of work, which in reality this probably takes me more than like probably 20 hours of work, but we're just doing it for even numbers. That's great money. That's great money. Here's the problem though. You're not going to be able to replicate this. And even if you could, this person is going to have bugs. They're going to have issues. And then once you start scaling out to say, like, now you've got these 15K deals, but you're doing, 5 of them a month, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got business owners, yapping over here. I got bugs here. I got bugs here. I got bugs here. And you're so spread out. Because you've got a custom work here, then a custom work here, and a custom work here, and a custom work. You can't even bring on any more clients because you're dealing with all the bugs that are inside all of the custom projects that you've already built. Now there's ways around that, right? Where you can build out, you can have developers come on and they can handle the bugs for you, but then you're paying a team. Like, that's not fun. You don't want to do that. That's a bad position to be in, right? So what's better to do instead is, instead of selling something for 15K custom, I would rather just sell something for 5K that solves one problem, right? That is just replicatable. One problem, one solution. We do it one certain way. There's no custom work involved. And then what that does is, instead of taking 10 hours to fulfill, now it only takes 2 hours, right? In the same time it takes to do the custom work, I can do 5 times the project. So now I'm making 25K. Per project on the same time that it took me just to build the initial thing. Then on the back end, I can also take on so many more clients, because clients that are coming to me and saying problems, they're more than likely all having the same problems. So then the solution to the problem is copy and pasteable. So then it's like, okay, now I'm making more money on spending less times, and all of the problems are basically combined to where I don't have to deal with a bunch of random BS. Like, that is where you get into a super scalable offer, because now this 25K, right, the same value that it took, I can scale this again like to 20 people a month instead of 5 people a month, right? And frankly, on a 5K deal, do 20 a month, that's 100K a month, versus doing, say, 5 15Ks that are, again, lock me up for the next month, right? Like, that's what? 75K, right? Which is great money, but it's like, I'm not thinking about how do I go to 100K. I'm thinking about how can I build a business and an offer that's going to go to 500K, to go to $1 million a month. And then it's so scalable that we're spending way less on fulfillment and time and money on fulfillment, and spending way more time on what truly matters, which is attention. Because at the end of the day, the biggest problem that I ran into is when I'm doing this custom work here, I'm spending so much time on fulfillment, I negate attention. And when you negate attention, like we said, if you have no attention and your attention literally goes from this to freaking this, think about how many people squeeze out at the bottom. A lot less than when you're doing this, right? So that's why attention is the most important thing, and sales and closing people into an offer that is scalable. But that, guys, is how you build and scale an AI agency, just a high level overview. If you want to learn how to build and scale an AI agency, then go join my community. I've got an AI agency accelerator inside that we are just about to drop, teaching you guys how to build and scale an profitable AI agency, and you're going to be working directly with me. So click the link in the description if you want to join. But that is everything for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section if you guys have any questions, and please subscribe. And I will see you guys at the next one. Peace.